Good morning and good evening. Welcome to the meditation session. I am awareness. An aspiration that I will become awareness. So today I have two videos, like just some pointers for meditations, and I'll share those before we take the meditation, like the video of the meditation that we are doing. So I'll share my screen. Please let me know
Meditation
if you
is
can't hear.
easier than you think. Actually, you can meditate everywhere, anytime, under any circumstances. It's just awareness. So, what we call the essence of meditation is awareness. Awareness meaning knows what you are thinking, what you are feeling, what you are doing. That is awareness. The knowingness knows. So many people think meditation is something which is very difficult. So empty mind, don't think of anything, concentration, like that. So that is the misunderstanding about the meditation. So actually, meditation, you don't have to do anything like block the thought or create special state of mind, peace, calm. No need. Just simply be. So as long as if you're aware of something and then maintain that awareness, that is the meditation. So, but of course, sometimes when we meditate like that, then a lot of thought pop up in our mind, like to-do list. I have to do this. I need to talk to that person. I have this important deadline. Am I wasting time? How can I know I'm doing right or wrong? So all this comes. So that's normal. So when I was young, first time when I meditate, I have all these things comes. Sometimes I lost, completely forget to listen to sound. And then suddenly I remember, oh, I forget again. So that's okay, no problem. You can try again, listen to sound, forget, listen to sound, forget. So that is the sound meditation. So today, please practice after this. So when you go out or when you are go at your workplace, just listen. So you can listen to any sound, not necessarily with the gong ringing the bell. So just listen to sound everywhere, anytime. Okay.
So that was Mingle
Meditation
Rinpoche,
is
who was saying that meditation is easy. He spoke about that how when we listen to a sound, that in awareness, that is meditation. Yes. And now a very short video on meditation and breath by Shraddhaluji. So I just
The breath is the only function in the human system, the only major function which straddles the conscious surface awareness and the subliminal inner awareness. When we are not conscious of breath, it's going on automatically. And it's intimately connected to the whole state of the body. It reflects that and it modifies that. But you can at any point take over this process and make it conscious. And by using it as a lever, modify the whole internal state of your being. Now, the breath itself is not just the oxygen that you take in. The ingoing breath is taking in the physical air and the life force. The two are layered on each other. And by controlling the kind of life force that you take in, you control the life energy flows within you. And by controlling life energies flows, you can modify the physical state and the mental state, because both are controlled by the same energy. So it's a very powerful lever that the conscious mind can take over at any point and use it as a way of modifying so many parts and layers of consciousness to which you do not have direct access. So in the yogic tradition, it's used as a starting point to get in there, to break through into those spaces of which you're not aware. But after you've done that, there's a point where the breath becomes even a hindrance, irrelevant, and you can drop it and go straight to the awareness that you have now awakened and work on it directly. And for me, this shift is more important. There are a very large number of people who take a technique, a method such as breathing, and then get stuck with the technique, miss the point of where the technique has to take you. I'll just give an example here because this is so central to any practice. There are people, for example, who use breath as a way of quieting the mind, and it's very powerful if you try to do it. Breathe slow and deep, and automatically your mind becomes quiet and your body becomes relaxed. But if you start just focusing on the breathing and you're counting, oh, is this the third breath and the 100th breath and the 200th breath? Your mind is on the breathing, not on the thing you were looking for. And the effect is that much less. But if your whole attention, your intention is on quieting the mind, and then you use the breath, then the breath acts as a lever, but it's the intention which does the real thing. So ultimately, you have to disengage from the technique and direct the intentionality itself upon your purpose. And that's the thing which opens out the experience, whatever the experience.
Yeah. Okay. Shraddhaluji here, he pointed us to the fact that a lot of time we are so busy following techniques that we forget what are we trying to achieve by technique. We forget that we are trying to be awareness and we get lost in the technique. So that was again nice. So those were the two videos that I wanted to share. And now I'll put a 16 minutes meditation. It's by Rupert Spira and it's called The Nature of Ourself as Awareness. We'll just follow him. It's a guided meditation. So here we are doing guided meditations, but it's said that guided meditations are more like entertainment. And we must sit with ourselves, with our silences, with our breaths whenever we can. And yet a lot of times they open some windows for us. So it's good to see that too. So I'll share that. And before I begin, just again, I think he'll only guide, so I don't.
Understand and feel yourself as the presence of awareness with which all experience is known, within which all experience arises, and out of which all experience is made. It would be sufficient to take any one of these three possible positions in relation to our experience. Having said that, each one
tells us something unique about the nature of awareness. That is, the nature of ourself. In the first, we understand and feel ourself as the presence of awareness with which all experience is known. That is, we stand as the knower of the known, the experiencer of the experienced, the witness of the witnessed. And in this first step, we understand and feel our innate freedom and independence from the content of experience. That which knows our experience is not in any way qualified or conditioned by it, just as one who watches a movie is not implicated by what takes place in the movie. In this first step, recognizing ourselves as that with which all experience is known, we make a clear distinction between ourself as awareness and everything else. We know ourselves as the ultimate subject of all objective experience. In the second step, we recognize ourselves not just as the witness of all experience, the knower of all experience, but the medium upon which all experience takes place, or the space within which all experience takes place. So in this second step, we at least begin to collapse the apparent distance or distinction between awareness and the content of experience. We could visualize ourselves, if you want a visual image to accompany this stage of understanding, we could consider our self-awareness like a screen, an aware screen upon which everything plays. I don't mean to imply by this that all there is to reality is the content of our own individual mind. Awareness is not limited by each of our minds. Just as the screen is not limited to a particular character in a movie. The screen pervades the character, indeed all characters. But it is not limited to them. It pervades the world in which the characters exist. Likewise, I would suggest that the presence of awareness that we ultimately are pervades each of our finite minds, but extends beyond the limits of our finite mind and is the ultimate reality of the world that we perceive. We could perceive, we could imagine or visualize awareness like a three-dimensional screen, in other words, a hologram. And everything we experience, our own body, everybody else's body, and the entire world is an appearance of that hologram in that hologram. Awareness is the aware screen or the aware space out of which the hologram is made, and everything that appears in it, including our own body, is ultimately appearing in that space. And then in the third step, we recognize that our entire experience does not just appear in the aware space of awareness, but it is a modulation of it. It is, so to speak, made of it, just as the hologram is made out of the very space in which it arises. And in this third step, the apparent distinction between anything that appears and the awareness in which it appears is completely dissolved, just as there is no distinction or separation between the image and the screen, or the appearances of a hologram and the hologram itself, the space itself. So in the first step, we separate ourselves from the content of experience, and we know ourselves as the knower of experience. We recognize our innate freedom and independence. In the second step, we begin to collapse this distinction. We know ourselves as the medium upon which, or the space within which, all experience appears. We discover our innate peace. Just as the empty space of a room is not disturbed by anything that takes place within it, so we, awareness, are not disturbed by anything that takes place within us. And then in the third recognition, we completely collapse any distinction between the screen and the movie, the space and the objects, awareness and its content. Everything, ourself, all other people and animals, and the world itself is seen to be a play of awareness, in awareness, made only of awareness. And we, as apparently separate selves or people, are localizations of that awareness, within that awareness, through whose sense organs it perceives itself as the world. So the illusion of separation only takes place from the localized perspective of each of our minds. But from the point of view of awareness, if we can speak of awareness having a point of view, there is nothing other than itself. Awareness is the sole reality out of which everyone and everything is made. So simply take whichever of these three recognitions is clearest and most obvious to you, and know yourself as that aspect of awareness. The important thing to recognize is that what we essentially are, the awareness that we essentially are, is not qualified by or limited to our experience, our thoughts, images, feelings, sensations, and perceptions, just like the screen is not qualified by the movie. In this sense, our essential nature is utterly impersonal. It shares none of the limited qualities of personal experience. But this does not imply that it is somehow cold or aloof or distant or unknowable. It is our essential nature of pure awareness is the most intimate, familiar aspect of experience. It is, we cannot even say that it is intimate, it is closer than close. So whilst it is utterly impersonal, it is at the same time completely intimate, innermost. The personal self, or the ego, results from believing that what we essentially are shares the qualities of personal experience. In other words, the personal self or ego is a mixture, or an apparent mixture, of our essential self, the true and only self of unlimited awareness, with the content of experience. And this amalgam of ourself and the content of experience generates the sense of being a temporary, finite, separate self, the one on whose behalf most of our feelings, afflictive emotions arise.
So through the help of these videos, in addition to paying attention to the technique, if we can now also give a little bit of attention to the awareness aspect. What is it? One of the major things that I'm trying to become aware of is awareness itself. That I'm always watching, I'm always looking. If I can be aware of that, that would help me in being more in the present moment, in seeing things more factually, and not always get tainted by my personal opinions, preferences, judgment. Becoming more and more, living more and more as awareness. If we did not understand some aspects today, it's absolutely fine. Like Rupert Spira shared, we can just pick up what we could understand and maybe include that in our practice. And that helps. When I step back from being the experiencer, like, it's happening to me. Why is it happening to me? It's happening through me. It's happening, around me. A little step back like that would help. Just spending the last few minutes with our breath in silence, following it all the way in, all the way out, or however we like to sit in silence. For the next 3 minutes, we'll sit and then we'll end it. As and when we are ready, we can open our eyes. Thank you so much for joining in. We'll end the session here, praying and aspiring for more and more awareness for myself and for everyone. Thank you.